Hello, I'm Chris Risley, Director of Risk Management Services in DOAS. Welcome to Chapter 2 in this video series, in which we'll provide an overview of the implementation plan for the Comprehensive Loss Control Program, or CLCP, and its 8 component programs. I hope that you'll find the information that follows useful and worthwhile.
The implementation of the CLCP will take place in 3 phases beginning in October 2008. Phase 1 will last throughout fiscal year 2009. In this first phase, we'll provide covered state agencies with information about the CLCP, focusing on the 8 loss control components. You should evaluate your operations to determine which of the 8 components apply. You'll then be asked to sign an agreement to implement and maintain the programs that do apply. You'll also be asked to develop action plans and implementation strategies for those programs, or to show that they're already in place. The DOAS Risk Management Services Division will consult with you on your implementation plans. We will use past claims data and professional observations to make suggestions for improving the programs in which you'll be participating. At the conclusion of fiscal year 2009, RMS will evaluate claim trends and establish loss prevention goals for each agency's performance in fiscal year 2010. Phase 2 will become operational in fiscal year 2010. In this phase, covered state agencies that have chosen not to participate in the CLCP will have to pay a 10% surcharge on all premiums for that year. Participating state agencies are expected to implement all the action plans developed in Phase 1. Participating state agencies should provide written implementation plans and programs to an RMS Loss Control and Safety Officer no later than July 15, 2009. Agencies with loss control programs in place must conduct regular reviews to ensure the program's effectiveness and should modify or add programs as necessary. Participating agencies who fail to meet their loss prevention goals will pay additional deductibles for losses that exceed the goals established at the beginning of the fiscal year. In Phase 3, which extends through fiscal year 2011 and beyond, covered state agencies not participating will have to pay a 10% surcharge on all premiums for the current fiscal year. All participating agencies are expected to have functioning programs in place. In order to maintain a risk management culture, RMS will establish loss prevention goals by evaluating the prior fiscal year's losses. Annual insurance premiums are calculated with an emphasis on prior loss experience, so successful programs will lower the premium charged and continuing participation in the program will avoid a premium surcharge. There are penalties for participating agencies that fail to meet their loss prevention goals. They will pay additional deductibles for losses that exceed the goals established at the beginning of the fiscal year. RMS will serve as an educational resource to state agencies covered by the state's self-insurance programs. We'll create scorecards to communicate important metrics regarding risk exposures and loss experiences. We'll set benchmarks for covered agencies to compare their loss control programs' results to similar programs. Finally, we'll create awareness by communicating best practices and providing loss control services to participating agencies. The CLCP's 8 basic program components should be customized for your operational risks. The first 4 are common to all covered state agencies, while the remaining 4 are dependent upon the type of operation performed. Each covered agency must develop a comprehensive written loss control plan that establishes systems, policies, procedures, and practices to control identified risk exposures. Each agency must identify the individuals designated to verify compliance with the applicable programs. DOAS will partner with the agency to help with implementation, benchmarking, and improvements. The first component is employee education and training. Given the variety of risk exposures faced by employees of covered agencies, training and education will be critical to improving loss control programs. Each agency must establish a written policy for the distribution of training material to all covered individuals and for the verification of compliance. This material should include information on the type and extent of insurance coverage available, as well as other loss control topics. DOAS will make training materials available and will direct agencies to additional sources. The next component is employee accident prevention. Most injuries to employees are preventable, and each participating agency must create systems that identify and control hazards and exposures within their operations. Theft and the misuse of state funds, property, and services by employees causes financial loss and has a negative impact on their organization's image. Each agency must create systems to maintain property inventories and discipline employees accused of or found to have stolen or misused state funds or property. In this series of videos, the detailed information about the fidelity losses or employee theft component of the CLCP is combined with the information on the property component. Under the heading of general liability, agencies must create systems to eliminate or reduce the effect of employment practice claims, such as harassment. This should include an employee handbook containing policies and procedures. You should also create systems to prevent claims relating to premises and operations, such as powered equipment injuring third parties or lawnmowers damaging cars. The next component is workers' compensation and return to work policies. As they move toward a full recovery, injured workers need to have meaningful, light-duty work. State agencies must ensure that light-duty jobs are available for injured workers who are medically capable of working. Supervisors must be trained to develop Georgia activity analyses for all positions and use those documents to help identify which activities workers can perform. Maintaining state-owned buildings in proper condition is critical to preventing losses and reducing liability issues. Agencies that maintain state-owned buildings must establish systems and resources that do the following: ensure that routine maintenance is performed to correct facility deficiencies, provide for inspections to be made, enable the effective management of changes to existing or new systems, track corrective actions, and log recommendations for inspections until completion of all recommendations. Employees driving on state business are covered for damages caused while operating their vehicle, regardless of whether it's rented, leased, owned by the employee, or owned by the state. The auto liability program also covers nonprofit agencies and their employees that have contracted to provide services to the Department of Juvenile Justice, Department of Transportation, or Department of Human Resources. Agencies must create a motor vehicle use policy and a driver qualification program. Agencies must also participate in the Report My Driving program and set up auto accident review panels. The final component is fleet management. Agencies with state-owned vehicles are expected to be good stewards, as with all state property. DOAS has contracted with Automotive Resources Incorporated, or ARI, to monitor vehicles for preventive maintenance and provide resources for vehicle repairs, including routine replacement of tires and batteries, as well as repairs from accident damage. Agencies are expected to join ARI or provide a similar program for the maintenance of their fleet.
All of us in Risk Management Services look forward to your participation in the CLCP. All of its program components are designed to achieve these objectives. Create a risk management culture and a safe environment for employees and the public. Take advantage of cost-saving measures. And avoid the increased costs of penalties and higher premiums. My staff and I are excited about the enhanced risk management opportunities provided by the CLCP, and we look forward to helping your agency implement your program. You can get more information or contact us by visiting our website at www.doas.ga.gov. Chapters 2 through 9 of the CLCP video series will provide more details on each of the 8 program components. Thank you for watching this overview.